Thank you, Chairwoman. Hi, Secretary. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk about the Food and Drug Administration, which reports to you. And by law and by logic, the FDA should make decisions on science, not politics, right?
Yeah, that's what we're doing for the first time in history.
And I also know that as an environmental litigator, I mean, you really emphasized lifting up the voices of scientists when politicians were trying to pressure them, right? That was a big part of your litigation against environmental toxins, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I want to make you aware of some of the findings of an investigation I've been doing about the Food and Drug Administration under the leadership of Dr. McCary. We opened up a whistleblower channel to FDA career scientists and have spoken to multitudes of them. Now, these are career scientists. They've worked for Republican and Democratic administrations, including Trump term 1, without complaint or concern. But now in this last year, they are ringing alarm bells. And I want to just have you listen to 3 quotations from very senior FDA scientists who are currently employed at the agency. One, quote, FDA staff have been subject to a steady, unrelenting compromise of our scientific standards to support ideologically driven policy goals, more focused on media sound bites and their own self-promotion than our nation's health. That's one senior scientist. Another, currently employed. Quote, I was pressured into withholding a recommendation for approval for a drug that was intended for a rare disease by Dr. Prasad and other FDA leadership. I know the drug would have been approved had it not been for the political pressure. Number 3, another senior career scientist currently employed. Quote, Dr. McCary's approach has made direct lobbying to the commissioner's office a smart and productive business practice for companies to get what they want. Secretary, you spent your career trying to lift up on the environmental front scientists beating back political pressure. Does this sound like an agency that is effectively lifting up science over politics?
I can tell you that all the decisions that have been made at that agency are made with the approvals of panels of career scientists.
So that's just not true. So let me reclaim my time. That is categorically false, because there's in fact a program called the Commissioner's National Priority Voucher Program. I've been investigating that as well for the last 6 months. This program expressly allows political leaders to short-circuit science and pick and choose politically favored treatments. Now, White House and FDA leadership have pressed staff to award vouchers to certain companies as part of White House pressure campaigns. And most recently and egregiously, the FDA just issued 3 of those vouchers for psychedelics based on a text from Joe Rogan. And one of those psychedelics was denied by the FDA in 2024. So let's just go through what happened here. Joe Rogan had a guest on his podcast, and the guest was talking about psychedelics. Joe Rogan texted the President of the United States, and the President texted back, quote, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it, end quote. That was from the President of the United States. So just to be clear, is the President of the United States allowed to grant FDA approval?
The career staff...
Is the President of the United States allowed to grant FDA approval?
The career staff at FDA all supported that decision.
Is the President of the United States allowed to grant FDA approval? Because he thinks he is. Is he wrong?
He doesn't do it.
He doesn't do it. So, and yet the FDA, within hours,
there's been no FDA approval.
Issued 3 priority vouchers from this illegal, unauthorized program to respond to political pressure from the White House. Secretary, this flies in the face of your stated commitment to putting science over politics. We are literally seeing politics put over science. Now, let's just understand why the President might have bent over to do the bidding of Joe Rogan. He has a disastrous war in Iran that has led even his most committed supporters in his base, like Joe Rogan, to question his competence. And in order to appease Joe Rogan's ire, he grants FDA approval. Safety and efficacy should be the standard for these drugs.
Do you want a grandstand or do you want an answer?
Not
do you want a grandstand or do you want an answer?
I want safety and efficacy to be the standards by which psychedelics are approved, not the President's attempt to shore up support from his base for a disastrous war in Iran. It should not be Joe Rogan's decision what psychedelics are approved. It should be the decision of randomized controlled trials.
And we are doing non-politicized science for the first time in history.
Let me close with a final question here, reclaiming my time. You had said about the research here to my colleague from Texas that you wish that the NIH didn't have to cut the billions, right?
What?
That you wish the NIH did not have to cut money. You had said that to Congresswoman Fletcher.
FDA?
The NIH, the National Institutes of Health.
Of course.
Right. Do you think it'd be a better use of money to spend $1 billion a day on the NIH or $1 billion a day on bombing Iran? Which do you think would be a better use of money? $1 billion a day on bombing Iran or $1 billion a day on the NIH?
Members' time's expired.